What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and today we're going to be talking about CEI stock, Camber Energy, because this stock is actually green today, and there are a couple of reasons why. We're going to talk about what's been causing this stock to go up, why it's actually fallen as of late over the past couple of days, and where it might be going in the future. So you can see we're actually green on the day from yesterday's close. We're up 5.5% just about, whereas pretty much everything else is red, all right? The market's in a lot of pain. And the market's in pain for the same reason that CEI is up, okay? It's based on what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. In fact, Russia and Ukraine were having peace talks at one point, but those talks have failed with no progress being made on a ceasefire or safe passage for civilians. So for those of you who don't know why that's actually good news for CEI stock, it's because CEI is an oil company, and oil has been going up in price quite dramatically ever since this Russia-Ukraine situation broke out. Russia's been getting a lot of sanctions placed on them. It's caused oil to increase in price massively. That's been benefiting CEI. Now, there's potential that if this conflict ends, that Russia may begin delivering more oil to the rest of the world, supply issues might shore up, and oil prices would go down, which would not be good for CEI stock. It would certainly be a good outcome for the rest of the world, though, and the overall stock market, and that's what everyone's hoping for, but it would not be good for CEI stock. Now, because these talks between Russia and Ukraine have actually stalled out, they've ended in failure with no progress being made on establishing a ceasefire or safe passage for civilians. It's looking more and more likely like the supply issues are going to persist, and oil prices are going to go up. In fact, this article even says oil on the rise again after Russia-Ukraine talks falter. So we're looking at a situation where CEI is benefiting today, despite the overall market being down, and reasons that it was actually down over the past couple of days. If you look at the chart, you can see, maybe we'll look at the 5-day chart right here, you can see it's been down pretty hard over the past couple of days. That's actually mostly based on this chart, which you can see. Oil. WTI crude, you can see, is currently trading for $110 per barrel. It's up 1.5% today. Thus, CEI is also up about 4%. It typically outperforms the price of oil a little bit. And the crude oil that's trading has actually been falling over the past couple of days fairly dramatically as some of the fears over the Russia-Ukraine situation have lessened, right? They started talking with each other, and they are negotiating on a very limited basis. And Russia hasn't actually enacted some of their biggest threats yet, which could cause the price of oil to skyrocket. Some analysts are saying that. Russia's certainly saying it. We're going to look at exactly what Russia's saying right after I ask you guys to potentially subscribe to the channel if you're interested. We cover stocks like CEI all the time. We're currently at 11,000 subscribers just about, so any additional subscribers who want to join us would certainly help out. Now, before we talk about what Russia said regarding the price of oil and what they might be doing, we're going to talk about what's happened to CEI stock on a more technical level, on a more social sentiment level. You can see that, unfortunately, people have kind of forgotten a little bit about CEI stock. It's currently number 4 top trending on StockTwits. It was at one point number 1 and number 2 and then number 3. Now it's number 4. It's fallen in popularity quite a bit over the past couple of days as oil's price has cooled off. But that could come back if oil's price comes back as well. Now, unfortunately, it's also fallen on Reddit. In fact, it's down to spot, I believe, number 31 right here, Camber Energy. It was in the top 10 just a couple of days ago, but it is falling quite a long ways on Reddit as well. And, of course, on Google Trends, you see fewer and fewer people searching for it day after day ever since it really peaked, along with the peak of oil. So CEI is not doing great social sentiment-wise, but what's good to see is that it's actually maintaining its price above $1 despite waning interest. It means that not everybody is just selling out instantly. Some people are holding this one. A lot of people are probably expecting oil prices to go back up in the near future, potentially based on what happens in Ukraine and Russia. And it's certainly a possibility based off of Russia's warning. Okay, Russia warns of $300 oil and threatens to cut off European gas if the West bans energy imports. Now, the West, at least the United States, did ban Russian energy imports. The European Union decided not to, okay? They did this because 25% of the EU's oil comes from Russia, 40% of their gas comes from Russia. It would be absolutely devastating to the European economy if they did end up completely banning Russian oil. Now, Russian oil sales and revenue actually make up about 45% of Russia's federal spending, okay? So it's a big deal to them as well. They don't actually want to cut off Europe from their oil. They would much rather sell it to them and make all of that money. And that's what's currently going on. But Russia is threatening to cut them off. They've said, actually, this is a quote from the Russian foreign minister. He said, "So far, we are not taking such a decision." So they're not banning the sale of oil to Europe yet. He continues, "But European politicians with their statements and accusations against Russia push us towards that." So there's a potential situation where if this conflict between Russia and Ukraine continues on for a long enough time, and Russia gets fed up enough, if Putin really gets fed up enough with the European Union and all these European countries in the United States sanctioning the heck out of Russia and causing their economy to suffer quite greatly, then maybe they're going to decide our economy is already in the toilet. We may as well let it suffer a little bit more to inflict some pain on Europe. So maybe they'll decide to do that. Maybe oil will go up in price because of that. We'll see what just happens naturally with the price of oil. It's already pretty darn high, and some analysts are expecting that it could go anywhere in the range of $100 to $200 per barrel. We'll see what happens with it. Currently, there are ways it could go to either side, right? If Russia and Ukraine end the fighting, if some of the sanctions ease, then we'd probably see oil prices going down. But if Russia does decide to take some extreme actions and cut off European gas, we could see oil prices skyrocketing quite far up, and that would be very beneficial for CEI stock and oil stock that doesn't have any ties to Russia. So that's the situation we're looking at. Obviously, we're all hoping that the conflict in Ukraine and Russia comes to a quick end, but if it doesn't, then there is potential in this stock. It's a play that I'm currently in, and obviously none of that is financial advice. I'm not recommending that anyone get in this play or do anything with their money. I'm just letting you guys know what I'm up to and what some of the potential catalysts and what some of the news are. So if you guys appreciate that, feel free to subscribe to the channel. And other than that, guys, have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.